Dan, thank you for joining us. Before we talk about the new deal that you've just signed, I want to go back to last season. What was it like to sign for a club and then immediately leave on loan?
No, I was buzzing because obviously at the time I was at Wigan, so to get another opportunity to be at a Premier League club, I jumped at it. It was explained to us what my situation was, that I would be sitting behind Duffer and Donkey and stuff, and I think it helped. It worked well for both clubs because I got to go back and get match fit, so by the time I came in January I was ready to go.
And then we get to the summer, obviously Chris is gone and then Graham's come in. At what point did you realise that, hang on, this guy likes me?
It's a hard one because when I came back for pre-season, sort of everyone sat down with him individually and we had a chat, and once I spoke to him, he sort of said it was a clean slate, he wasn't just going to go off the team that I played last year, and I had to impress him and stuff, so I backed myself to do that. And it wasn't probably until the Valencia game that I thought that I was in a strong chance of sort of starting the season, and then sort of luckily since then I've thought that I've played well enough to carry on in the team. So.
Left back extraordinaire. Did you see that coming?
Definitely not, but when I was younger, before I was playing professionally, I have played there before and stuff, but obviously I think with my size, it was just natural that I sort of got moved into centre back and stuff. So, but I enjoy it. You can sort of get forward and do that sort of bit, but I get to do my defensive duties as well. And I've played against probably some of the best players in the Premier League, so it's nice to know that I can sort of test myself against them. I've been happy with the way I've performed in most of them.
You said you're happy with how you performed. Anything particular that you maybe surprised yourself about, or did you know this is what you could?
I think it's just a confidence thing. I think once you're sort of playing and getting that run of games, I'd sort of back myself to play well. And a couple of years ago, if you'd asked us if you think I'd be doing this, probably not. But I do think it is just a confidence thing. When I have played games against sort of the Salahs and Traores and that sort of stuff, once you feel like you can compete with them, it sort of changes your mindset a little bit. And I've probably had some games where I didn't play so well, like Man United for instance. Dan James was a tough opponent and stuff, but sort of looking back on it, you like to think that you can sort of take from them experiences, so that if we go again, that I sort of be able to deal with it better.
Probably your best moment, rampaging up the wing against Everton?
Yeah, just the sort of relief it was, because obviously I think just a week or a couple of weeks before we got done off Villa last minute, and just the way we come back and won the game, I think was a sort of a big moment for her, and on a personal note, it was nice that I could sort of contribute in that way.
Do you think that you will ever score and it will actually be allowed?
Well, not after last time, no chance. I think that's me done now. So disappointing. Obviously, I think if it had been any other season, we would have had a few extra goals. I definitely would have had a goal anyway. So, but just the way that the VAR rule is at the moment, I'm sure. Well, I hope that they'll look at it at the end of the season and sort of come to a little bit of common sense about it and stuff. But I'm still trying. I'm desperate for that first sort of Premier League goal. So
that last one, did you actually think, right, this is fine, this one is actually all right?
Well, when we were celebrating, I was celebrating with Duff, and I was like, oh, I hope this isn't offside. And then the longer and longer it went on, I thought, oh, I'm going to get done, yeah.
Unfortunately then, you have been having a great season. I think the fans obviously have taken to you, you've been in great form, and then apparently one of your old friends decides that it's going too well for you, so he wipes you out.
Pretty much, yeah. Obviously it was it's just one of those things that it's just sort of a freak accident. I didn't, to be honest, I thought he was going to bottle it, so when I was running towards it, I wasn't expecting him to hit us, and then I knew straight away that something had happened. I had pain around my neck, but I couldn't sort of tell where it was, and then the physio came over and he was I could feel him playing with the bones a little bit, so I knew that I'd snapped something. So yeah, it's one of them where it's frustrating, but it could have been a lot worse. Time-wise, that I could have been out. So as I say, I'm working hard and hopefully I'll be back soon.
How did you take it those first few days? Because obviously everything had been going so well. Mentally, were you particularly down, or did you just?
I think so. Yeah. Because I'd played pretty much every minute, I wanted to carry on, do that right way through the end of the season. So it was frustrating, especially starting the new year in that way. That was a frustrating thing. But I think once you've got your head around it and realise that the time you're out isn't going to be a lot.
So your form, as we've said, been great, having a great season. Manager seems to like you and definitely likes you because you've got a new deal. How did you feel when you got told about that?
No, excited, buzzing. like, I wasn't expecting it. So once it came about and that, I was just really happy. Like, it's nice that they sort of repaid the faith that I've showed, and as I said, like, I think I've been pretty consistent with performances, and yeah, it's nice that they've offered us something.
Did this new deal seem a million miles away, say last February?
Yeah, like, huge. Like, I wasn't obviously even getting a game last February, so to sort of turn it around the way that it's happened, like, I try not to look back on it so much because you can sort of get caught up on it a lot, but it's sort of like been an amazing couple of years, even from obviously when Wigan in League One, and wouldn't expect to have been back in the sort of the Premier League, especially like starting nearly every game. So.
A final question. A very disappointing result on Tuesday, and probably not what we were hoping for on Saturday as well. A lot of people pressing the panic button, starting to get nervous. What would you say to fans that are maybe starting to look down the table and worry about relegation?
Well, it's natural, like, as a fan, I think, to do that. Obviously you do panic, but I think we are in a very good position. Like, I probably wouldn't have thought we would have been in this position with the way that we have been playing, but that's the way it works out, and I think like a couple of results changes that massively. If we can pick up sort of 2 wins these next 2 games, then you're going into the winter break full of confidence and stuff. So just think, like, stick with it and like, support the boys, like, the way that they're trying to play.